In the heart of Anambra State, where the hills rise like sleeping giants and the morning mist glides along forest paths, there was a village known as Adaeze. Its clay houses clustered around the village square, their walls painted with white woolly patterns, and under the spreading iroko trees, children's laughter rang like gentle bells. At the edge of the village, where the forest began and the Anambra River glistened like a silver ribbon, lived a girl named Adaeze. Adaeze was known throughout Adaeze as the most graceful maiden of her generation. She wore beads that shimmered against her dark skin and walked with a quiet strength that drew every eye. But more than her beauty, it was her kind heart and bold spirit that captivated those who truly knew her. Her father, Chief Okeke, was a stern and traditional man, respected and feared by all. Chief Okeke had already chosen her husband, Obinna, a powerful hunter and apprentice chief who was proud and ruthless. The elders had agreed. The bride price was nearly settled. Tradition was tradition, and Chief Okeke never broke his word. Yet Adaeze's heart did not belong to Obinna. It belonged to Chidi, a gentle and courageous warrior from the neighboring village of Oka. The two had met one moonlit evening by the river when Chidi was hunting and Adaeze was gathering water with her friends. From that day on, whenever the forest birds sang at dawn and the winds whispered through the palm fronds, Adaeze thought of Chidi. They kept their love secret, meeting by an ancient shrine hidden under a canopy of green leaves and sacred vines. They spoke of a future together, a future that tradition refused to see. As the days passed, Chief Okeke began to sense a change in his daughter. She sang less in the compound and spent more time away. Her mother, Mama Ngozi, noticed too, but instead of confronting her daughter, she prayed silently to Chukwu, hoping the gods would guide them. Mama Ngozi remembered her own youth, and she could see the light of true love glowing in Adaeze's eyes. Meanwhile, Obinna grew restless and suspicious. Rumors swirled like dry harmattan winds. Some villagers spoke of seeing Adaeze in the forest at odd hours. Others whispered that they'd heard the gentle tones of her laughter mingling with a stranger's deep voice at the riverbank. Jealousy darkened Obinna's heart. One humid afternoon, he followed Adaeze at a distance, moving like a hunter tracking a deer. When he reached the sacred glade, what he saw shattered his pride. Chidi and Adaeze, hands intertwined before the shrine, promising forever. Obinna's fist clenched like stones. His breath came sharp and hot. Betrayal burned through him like fire in dry grass. That very night, under a full moon that glared like an all-seeing eye, Obinna stormed into Chief Okeke's compound to reveal what he had witnessed. His voice was hard and unyielding as he told the chief that his daughter was consorting with a rival clansman, an insult to their bloodline and their tradition. Chief Okeke was enraged. Thunder rumbled in his voice as he summoned Adaeze before him. "Is this true?" he demanded, gripping his oji staff so tightly his knuckles turned pale. Adaeze stood tall before him, hands trembling, eyes glistening with unshed tears. Deep inside, she felt a wild spark of defiance. Even as fear rose up in her throat, her heart urged her to speak her truth. "Yes, Papa," she whispered. "I love Chidi. My heart has chosen him." Her confession rang through the compound like a loud gong. Shock and murmur swept across the gathered villagers. Chief Okeke's face darkened like a brewing storm. "Never," he roared. "You will marry Obinna as tradition dictates. This is an insult to our ancestors." A disgrace, yet Adaeze stood her ground. Even as her mother wept quietly, even as her father's gaze blazed with fury, even as Obinna glowered with triumph, she held her chin high. That night, the drums in Adaeze fell silent. The village, so often alive with song and dance, now felt cold and hushed. Still, Adaeze would not give up. Late that night, as shadows thickened and fireflies flickered like tiny lanterns, she slipped from her hut and ran to the forest shrine. There, beneath a towering iroko tree, Chidi was waiting. The moon painted silver streaks across his face, and when he saw her, relief and worry filled his eyes. "They will separate us," Adaeze told him breathlessly. "My father will never allow us to be together. Obinna will do whatever it takes to keep me. What shall we do?" Chidi took her hands gently and spoke with quiet determination. "Then we fight for this love. Even if we must stand before the entire village at the next full moon festival, we will speak. Even if tradition says we cannot be together, we will show them that a union built on love is stronger than any alliance of fear and duty." And so, they planned. Every step was dangerous. Every glance could give them away. But together, they prepared to face the village, their parents, the elders, and especially Obinna. The days that followed felt like a slow dance with fate. Obinna prowled like a panther in the shadows. Chief Okeke's sternness grew heavier. Mama Ngozi kept her silence, though in her heart she hoped the gods would protect her brave daughter. At last, the full moon festival arrived. It was a night when Tage gathered in the village square to pay homage to their ancestors and to celebrate the season's harvest. Bonfires blazed in iron basins. Men pounded drums until the rhythm reached the farthest hills. Women sang in harmonies that carried across the valley like the songs of spirits. Children ran among the dancers, their laughter bright and clear. In the center of it all, Chief Okeke stood with Obinna by his side. Adaeze was called forth, dressed in rich red wrapper and a crown of beads, her beauty glowing like firelight. Obinna stepped forward, a smirk on his lips, ready to claim her as his bride. And then, at that very moment, Chidi appeared. The dancers paused. The drums fell quiet. Gasps rippled through the crowd as Chidi walked into the circle, his hands raised in peace but his gaze unwavering. "I have come for Adaeze," he declared, voice strong and steady. "She is the one my heart has chosen, and I am the one hers has a sept. No tradition can part two souls who were meant to find one another." The crowd held its breath. Chief Okeke's brow furrowed like a gathering storm. Obinna's hands twitched toward his knife. But Adaeze ran to Chidi's side, lifting her chin. "I am here," she said simply. "And my choice is Chidi." The silence stretched like a tense bowstring. Then Chief Okeke's voice broke it. "Such a union cannot stand," he growled, stepping forward. "Do you defy me? Do you defy all that has kept this village strong?" Chidi met his gaze. "No, Chief. I honor you. I honor the village. But I honor my heart, too. True strength is in allowing love to live, not forcing it to die." And in that moment, something shifted. The villagers glanced at one another, feeling the weight of Chidi's words. Even Mama Ngozi raised her hands in gentle support. The old ways were strong, but so was this brave new path. Chief Okeke lowered his staff slowly. Thunder still roiled in his eyes, yet behind the thunder was a trace of sorrow, and perhaps pride, at his daughter's courage. "Let the ancestors judge," he finally said, voice low and gruff. "And let the village decide." A murmur rose. Some elders nodded thoughtfully. Others muttered, torn between tradition and the undeniable power of this love they had witnessed. Adaeze and Chidi stood together before them all, hands clasped, their faces illuminated by the orange light of the fires. And as the drums began to sound once more, deeper, this time like the heartbeat of the earth, the village danced on into the night. Somewhere between the swirling dancers and glowing embers, a new story was being woven into the fabric of Tage. A story of a bride who followed her heart despite every obstacle. Of a warrior who loved her without fear. Of a chief who learned that even tradition must sometimes bow to the will of true love. And so, under the Anambra moon, Adaeze and Chidi began their life together, proof that even in a world bound by ancient rules, a love that is true cannot be forbidden.
Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.